Sanam aloha. So today I want to talk about the transits that are coming up for this weekend, to prepare you for this weekend. And this is what we're going to be going through. So the Earth and Uranus, right? And the one activating the 1-8 channel. And we'll go through the human design codes, the 8th gate, which is the shadow of mediocrity, the gift of style, and the city of uniqueness or exquisiteness. And then the 1-8 channel of the creative role model, Hummingbird medicine, why are people triggered by the 1-8, and then changing costumes when spirit calls. And then we'll go over the Phoenix Fractal reading, twin flame message, and human design type messages. So a lot of you on my fractal line are high priestesses in hiding. So I posted this meme last week. I forget. I'm not good with time right now. And this is the legions of angels, your legions of ancestors watching you throw away your soul purpose for the illusion of safety. So it's your choice right now. Am I going to hide, continue to hide in this lifetime, stay under the radar, or am I going to heal? Am I going to alchemize those persecution wounds, the witch wounds from my past life? So you need to put it in perspective. You're born at this time in space for a high destiny, high priestess. And now it's time to come out of hiding. Okay, so let's go to the codes first. So here's the chart, the transit chart, as of May 3rd. So the time of the recording here is May 2nd, Friday. And this is when the sun moves into the second gate. And then the programming partner is the 1, right? The first gate. And that's the Earth position here. So the sun is in the 2 from May 3rd to the 8th. Now remember my last video was all about this, the channel of initiation, the 5125. And if you haven't watched that, then please do. And I'm assuming everybody's kind of watching along with these videos so that so I don't have to be repeating myself, and because it's a continuity, right? A continuity of energy. So we're still in the leaping energy until May 5th. This is activated Mercury. You see Mercury is already in the 5th line tomorrow. Once it gets to the 6th, then that's over, and then it moves into the next gate. So right now this channel is activated. So this is about making the leap, right? Moving into the unknown, going towards what your intuition has been screaming to you to do. And the agitation in your body, that's your soul. Like, right? I'm ready to walk away from whatever this is that I've outgrown. And then this continues on, right? This is the willpower center, the G center, and then we're moving into this, the 1-8. So the 1 is coming from the G center, and the 8 is coming from the throat chakra, right? So it's Uranus has been in there for a while. The 8th gate, and then the Earth. So that makes the connection. So what does this mean? Well, let's talk about the second gate right here. And this is the home of the magnetic monopole. In human design, it's taught that we have a monopole. It's located around the sternum. Science will catch up with this and find this, just like they found the neutrinos that Ra talked about in the 80s, the founder of human design. So it's monopole. So it keeps us in the illusion of separation in the Maya, and it's a mono, right? That word mono means one. So it attracts, but it doesn't repel. And it keeps you in this illusion of Maya, and that you're moving through time and space and on your trajectory. So it's the driver. It's the driver. So the sun's moving in here until the 8th. So the second gate is the most feminine gate. It's magnetic. It's deeply spiritual. And you don't need a map Your body is the compass. So Divine Feminine is all about trusting her body now. And this is where your power is. This is where all these codes are, is in your physical form. So your job with the second gate for this time, May 3rd to the 8th, is to align and surrender to your soul, right? To make your decisions. It's not about strategizing with your mind anymore with pros and cons list. That's not where your power is. This is giving you your sense of direction. So this is really about inner direction, not outer validation and proof. It's your inner direction. So you want to trust where your body is pulling you, right? Where is it pulling you toward? Who is it pulling you toward? You want to trust the body with the sun in the second gate. And then the programming partner is the first gate. And so this is about how your creative energy flows through you. It's very creative, the first gate. So this is how you express who you really are. It's how you speak, you move, how you style yourself, how you love, and how you live. So the shadow of the first gate, just to be aware of this, that this can be coming up for you, right, this week, is I feel stuck. I got the blahs. I just feel blah about everything. I feel like I'm in Groundhog Day. I don't know what I want. I'm uninspired. I got no mojo, right? I lost my spark. And this comes when you're trying to create from your mind and your ego, which is your not self, right? You're creating from this place of like, I need external validation. I care about what other people think. I'm going to create for what they want, right? And creation isn't just artistry. It's about, we're all artists in our life. And what is art? It's making choices, creative choices. So the choices that you're making in your life, right? Are you doing them from you? Are they coming from soul? Or are they coming because I want to people please and I want to make that person comfortable and happy, right? So this can also, with the shadow of entropy, it can also look like aimless scrolling, right? Doubting your path, comparing yourself to others, basically procrastinating, making this leap, the 51-25. And the gift here of the second gate is freshness, right? So ask yourself, what if I didn't need to create something that's impressive? What if I didn't have to make myself interesting for other people, right? For their validation and approval. Maybe I just create something that's alive in me, that has energy, right? So just asking this question, well, then something new is going to bubble up, right? Because did you force it? No, you gave it space for it to come and bubble up. So this is a new idea, a real true desire that's coming from your soul, a real shift in your energy and your frequency. And it could be, ending something that's stale in your life, something that doesn't have any life anymore. Not fresh, right? So this is when your soul starts to stir. And this is when your style starts to shift. Right? You say yes to you, not what's expected of you. And then the city is beauty, right? So beauty in this case, it's not how you look. It's how aligned you feel. That's true beauty. And then life becomes your art, right? With the second gate. So let's go into this channel a little bit more deeply here. So this is one of the leadership channels. You've got the 31-7 is a leadership channel, and that's all about the future trends. 33-13 is all about the past, learning from experiences of the past. And then the 1-8 is like a whole different animal. This is not about the past or the future. It's about the present now moment. Right? And it's leading from that place, and it's leading from a knowingness. A knowingness. This is individual, right? Individual circuitry. So it's I know, I don't know why I know, I just know in the present now moment, the 1-8. So this is the creative role model, but it's the role model of authenticity, the 1-8. Right? So this is a creative expression as soul transmission. This is the creative fire of the divine moving through your being. And you're not here to copy, conform, or retreat. You turn the unseen energies into sound, movement, art, right, with this 1-8. So the gate 1 is all about the burn. The burn, right? Phoenix energy, the flames. And this is about shedding the false, right? Shedding what's false in your life and discovering what's true, right? So there's the burn, and then it moves to the 8, and the 8 is the rise. So this is transmuting the truth that you've discovered with your own style, your own flavor, and your own frequency. And this is your authenticity. It's about your frequency. So when you're aligned with your truth, you don't inspire by trying, right? You do it by standing in your full authenticity, So you're not speaking for the crowd here, because it's going right to the throat, right? You speak for the soul. You speak for the soul, not for the crowd, not for the approval of others. And the right people, and when you start really embracing this authenticity, the right people, your right fractal, recognize themselves through you, right? And so I just want to mention, just as a side note here, remember I talked about the new species that's coming in 2027. They're called raves, and they have a shared awareness. It's going to take 5 of them to come together, these new raves, and then they operate from this group like a shared awareness. So we're finishing up a cycle, the turn of a whole cycle beyond the cross of the sleeping phoenix that comes in 2027. But it's the end of the human species, and these raves are going to. This is like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years away, but we're going to start to see them in 2027. So your job, as kind of the last of the human species, is to be your authentic self, right? So you're being supported now to individuate, maybe for the first time in all your lifetimes, right? That you're going to be your unique self and individuated self in this lifetime. So that's your job. That's why this 8, right? The 1-8 is so important for this activation, right? Okay, so your fractal's going to recognize you when you're speaking from your soul, when you're in truth, when you're in your authenticity. So with the 1-8, it's like when you activate this, you're not following trends or pretending to like things that seem like, oh, I'm going to be interesting to other people or cool to other people. Right? If I pretend to like these things, but I'm not really into them, it's not authentic to me. And you become, not a person. You're like a curated image. Everything is curated. I should like this and this and this and this. And then I'm very interesting to other people. And everything about them is contrived and pretentious, right? And when this activates in you, you're going to feel the inauthenticity of people, that they're just being fake, right? They're like not even 3-dimensional, So this is, with the 1-8, you can struggle in environments that you're expected to fit in, right? So there you are, a square peg trying to get into the round hole. It's like, I can't, right? Your body will show you that you feel constricted. No, like, this is not the environment for me. And you can often feel like an outsider until you own your own uniqueness. It's about owning your own uniqueness. And when you're engaged, right? Engaged when you're doing self-expressive work. You're not doing it for other people or in trying to impress other people. You're just doing it just to express yourself. Right? Spirit wants to express through you. The divine wants to express something through you. This is this self-expressive work. It's not about other people. It's about expressing. Why does the bird sing, right? The bird just sings. The divine wants to move through that bird to sing just for the pure joy of it, to express. So you can't fake this frequency, right? You can't fake it. If you try to be like someone else, this channel shuts you down. It will shut down. And this is when you feel frustrated, you feel like creatively blocked, you feel uninspired, you feel invisible, you feel like there's no life, there's no energy in you, right? You're just going through the motions. Now, if you follow your own creative pulse, and you let your style evolve with your soul, you speak from your lived experience, you become magnetic and people feel it. So this is empowerment, right? It's individual. So you empower others by being full on you, right? Unapologetically you. So let's go to the Hummingbird to give us a little bit more, another kind of perspective into this energy of the 8th gate. And remember, Uranus is there. Uranus is all about awakening. It's about liberation. And once you liberate it as yourself. And this is the thing, like people are all over like, yeah, I want to be free. I want to be liberated. But they want to bring their ego with them, right? They want liberation. I want freedom with the ego. And freedom comes without the ego. So this is what this 8th gate is also teaching us, right? So let's look at Hummingbird. Hummingbird travels alone. So hummingbirds are solitary travelers. They don't migrate in flocks like other birds, so that makes them unique. So this says that this is an individuation journey. You don't move with the crowd, right? As soon as you're with the crowd, I would stop and take a pause and say, why am I with this crowd? Am I hiding? Am I high priestess in hiding? Right? Is this my fractal line? Is my body open and relaxed with these people? Do they accept my authenticity? Right? So you break off from the collective rhythm and you follow your own inner compass. This is about following your own inner authority. Remember I talked about this, why the Pluto and Scorpio. Women have father wound because they've got that Neptune-Saturn conjunction in Capricorn in the 80s, right? And the higher purpose is to follow your own inner compass, not to be outsourcing your authority, right? So this isn't about rebellion for rebellion's sake. I just want to be different. That's the ego. I want to be different. I want to be interesting. I want to be eccentric, right? That's the ego. That's not true rebellion. This 8th gate is just about how you're designed, to accept your design, right? To accept this transit this week. So you inspire others not by walking with them, but by walking ahead. And that's trusting your own rhythm, The hummingbird travels great distances with its little tiny wings. So some species of hummingbird can migrate up to 1,200 miles nonstop across oceans, despite only being a few grams in weight. So its frequency is very refined, right? It makes things happen quietly. So how this fits with the 8th gate, it doesn't try to be seen, right? It's not looking for attention. But it simply can't be ignored by others, right? Because of the frequency. So your beingness, when you embrace this 8th gate, it alters others without explanation. Your words carry more weight because they're anchored in authenticity, not an agenda. They're coming from yourself, right? That G center. They're not coming from the mind and the agenda, and I have to manipulate and I have to people please and I gotta perform for this person. It's like, no, it's coming from here, and this is way more powerful because you're speaking from your authenticity, which means you're speaking from your soul. Okay, hummingbird moves in all directions, even backwards hummingbird, right? So unlike most birds, hummingbirds can fly forward, backward, sideways, and hover. So it's very innovative and adaptable and flexible, right? So this means that you're allowed to revisit the past, you pivot, shift your style, take a pause, right? So this isn't regression. This is mastery. So Hummingbird can teach us a lot about the 8th gate. So Hummingbird is the totem animal for the 8th gate. Okay. So what does this mean for the fractal, the Phoenix fractal in the 8th gate? Well, this is your embodying the shift from tribal survival. Remember, we're moving from tribal consciousness into individual consciousness, right? This is getting mutated out of us. So this is the shift from tribal survival, right? This is like falling for the false sense of security to individual expression. So the cross of planning is ending in 2027, and it was all about conformity. It was all about systems. It was all about the roles you play. It was about safety. It was about support. And now the cross of sleeping phoenix is coming online, and this is about you embodying your life force energy. This is about you, divine feminine, like coming into your physical form completely. A soul having a human experience. This is all about sovereign creativity, right? This is about your self-sourced authenticity. So it's a different energy that's coming in 2027, and you're probably feeling it, right? So gate 8 says don't wait for that system, that dying system, to value you, because it's dying. It has no energy. Don't wait for the tribe to invite you. Right? Express now and style yourself from your soul. So it also, with the 8th gate, it's teaching you how to be seen without losing yourself. And a lot of divine feminines deal with this. Like this is the feminine wound, right? How can I be in relationship and not lose myself, lose my identity? Well, the 8th teaches you that. So this is one of the biggest challenges of this new age right now that we're in, is visibility without conformity. So gate 8 is the armor of style and the soul of essence fueled together. And it lets you transmit truth without apology, but without aggression. So this completely aligns with the Phoenix energy, right? And this is about burning your mask. And mediocrity, that's the shadow of the 8, is the ash of the old patterns. And style's the little feather that regrows. And exquisiteness is the flames that you wear when you're no longer afraid to be real and authentic. So the 8th gate's not going to just let you survive the new era. It's going to show you how to radiate in it, right? And there's no coincidence that Uranus is activating this 8th gate for us. So let's look at why people are triggered. Why people are triggered by this 1-8 channel. Well, your authenticity, when you're really in your power and your authenticity, exposes their compromise, right? How they're compromising in their life. How they're being fake in their life. And it's a threat to what is false, right? Authenticity is a complete threat to what is false. So when you speak or act from your core, which is gate 1, and you express it unapologetically, which is gate 8, you unintentionally reveal where others are not being true to themselves, and they'll feel very uncomfortable, right? They'll be feel very uncomfortable. And of course, their ego will get in there and then project it onto you, right? There's something wrong with you. So your self-expression acts like a mirror. And not everyone wants to look into that mirror, especially people who knew the old you. So they may have been really comfortable with you, the old you that needed their approval and played a role they expected when you weren't radiating quite so brightly, right? You were dimmed down, making yourself small. And now your frequency, when you really step into your authenticity, it calls them to level up or calls them out about how fake they're being. And many will interpret that as a threat. Even when you're not pointing it out directly, it's your frequency. It's coming off your aura. They're going to feel how inauthentic they are, right? Well, people feel left behind. When you evolve, especially in your style and your expression and your confidence, people who are still in that phase that you used to be in, they feel abandoned or they feel inadequate. So they may think you've changed, right? You've changed, you're arrogant, you think you're better than me, you're too much now. But what's really happening is you've left a frequency field that they're still standing in, and that creates emotional distance. Even if you're still physically present, no, I'm still here physically present, but your frequency is gone, right? You're not in the same field that they're in. You're no longer predictable or controllable, right? People like to put other people in a box. That's why one of the first questions they ask you, what do you do? What do you do for a living, right? So then, okay, now I can put you in a box, right? Now I know how to treat you. And it makes them feel safe. So when you evolve in real time through this 1/8 channel, you become unboxable. They can't put you in a box. And this threatens their sense of control, especially if your new expression doesn't match your old brand, right? It feels you feel more powerful, more wild, less accessible. Right? You no longer make them feel needed or superior to you, right? You step out of this role. It makes people uncomfortable. And what they were connected to a past version of you, right? Maybe that you made yourself small, you blended in, you overgave. And gate 8 breaks that bond, right? Breaks that bond down. Not with cruelty, but with, yeah, I still love you. I still care about you, but I'm not going to say the same just to make you comfortable, right? And you're not self here. Okay. So, what happens, right? So when Spirit calls you to change costumes, right, which the 1/8 does, this channel, to change costumes, to transform, to be the phoenix, right? This is when our soul no longer fits into the role, right, that we once wore like a second skin, right? Maybe you're going through that now. Maybe you'll go through this during the transit if you're up for it. So gate 1's going to feel it first. And it'll be this internal sense of stagnation, like I'm not moving forward in my life. I'm not growing, right? There's a creative deadness or a quiet grief for who you're pretending to be. I know that I'm not being myself and I'm just like on automatic, I'm like a robotic. Well, so the gate 1 triggers that, and then the gate 8 follows. And this is demanding that your expression catch up to your essence, right? So you may have outgrown the healer, whatever healing, maybe you're in the role of a healer and you've outgrown that robe, that costume. You've outgrown the spiritual teacher mask. You've outgrown the humble servant frequency. Right? You've outgrown the mystic who needs to be invisible, the high priestess that needs to be invisible. Maybe you're done with it. The woman who made herself small to stay safe, right? Put everybody else on a pedestal, made their voice more important than your own. The woman who held back her fire and her passion, right? And her voice so that she could be digestible. She wasn't too much, right? She fit in. And now Spirit is whispering, that version of you brought you here. Yes, brought you here. Honor it, thank it, and then leave it behind. So just with my own personal story, because I actually have the 1/8 natally, right? It's one of my channels here. And what was I going to say? So back into that 2012. So in 2000, it was a 7-year cycle. So it was about 2006. I started wearing the turbinator, and you probably have seen that in my videos, like my earlier videos go back to 2009. But 2007, I started to wear that. And I loved it. I totally loved it. It was like the ultimate head covering, and I felt so contained, and it was just felt so good, right, on my head. And it really served me. And I was in this cycle of discipline. Like, I was so disciplined, and I was contained, right, in my discipline, becoming a Kundalini yoga teacher and a spiritual guide, right, a spiritual teacher. And then in 2012, right, that pivotal year, I started to put it on one morning, right? So I wore it every day, right? Practically every day. It was rare that I missed not wearing it. And then one day in 2012, I started to wrap it on my head, and my body was completely rejecting it. It was totally rejecting it, and it actually hurt. It hurt. It even hurt my hands to touch it, to touch the cloth. So this is when my 1/8 kicked in, right? And it was like, you're done with this costume. It's time now to put on a new costume. And so I mean, in hindsight, I don't make it wrong, but it brought me to who I am today. But it was a clear message. It was just like this, no more. And so a lot of people can get threatened by that. Well, you're not being loyal to the path, or you've broken away and the ego's got you and this and that. Nothing had changed. My frequency, my authentic frequency was the same, but it was like it was just time to change the costume for me for whatever reason. So that this is what you have to obey, and whatever role that you've taken on, right? So this is what we have to get good with. And you Scorpios, the Pluto Scorpio, the stellium in Scorpio, the stellium in the 8th house, Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio, or if you just resonate strongly with my messages, you're on this path. If you're on my fractal, you're on this path. So you go through many changes throughout your lifetime, right? So the 1/8 channel says, and maybe you can relate to my story, let me know, where you've dropped that costume and then you're living this whole new life. Maybe there's new people around you now, right? It's a continuous evolution. So the 1/8 channel says, you don't inspire other people through consistency and loyalty to an old self. You inspire others by showing what it looks like to evolve in real time, right? In real time. Okay, so keep that in mind. So the other thing I want to say is that the online retreat, it's May 16th, so that's like 2 weeks from today that starts, and this is all, the focus is on awakening the divine feminine using Kundalini yoga and meditation and somatic trauma release exercises and teachings, of course, and some other things to unlock your Lilith, and that's your exiled feminine, your shadow that holds a lot of power, and it's been repressed, not this lifetime, but other lifetimes. So it's time to bring Lilith out of hiding, right? So that's the focus for this online retreat, and it's based on your chart. So you'll need your chart for this retreat. So May 16th it starts. So I hope to see you there, and so that you can come out of hiding. High Priestess needs to come out of hiding. Okay, so we'll go to the readings here. And we'll start off with the fractal, the general fractal reading here. Here we go. And what would the fractal reading be without the devil, eh? The devil shows up. So this is the 9 of Swords here. And so what truth is trying to arise on the fractal line? What's trying to bust through? What truth? Is I'm not broken. I'm not broken. So the 9 of Swords can get you like, oh, I have an anxiety and I got to go get some pills, right? to heal this. There's something wrong here. Instead of looking at it spiritually, which is like, I'm not broken, I'm just waking up. This is the process of waking up. So that you may have, you may be experiencing internalized shame, right? This is like I'm up at 3 a.m., right? In my head here. You may have internalized shame, guilt, and soul confusion. You may be stuck in mental torment, like in your mind, not because something's wrong in your life, right? It just means something needs to shift. Something needs to shift. Something's ready to shift in your life. So you're beginning to realize that the pain that you're feeling, it wasn't punishment. It's not punishment. It was a symptom of misalignment. So you, Divine Feminine, you may be feeling pain in your body. Like, I have pain in my body. To not look at it as like punishment and it's something I've got to go fix with Western medicine or heal it. It's a symptom that you're out of alignment. As soon as you come out of alignment, right? You come into alignment with yourself, with the 8th gate, the 1-8, being your authentic self. The pain starts to dissolve because you don't need that message anymore. The pain in your body is sending you a message, right? So it's like a warning light in your car. And what you'll do, what the 9 of Swords is saying, is like, I'm going to put duct tape on the warning light. I'm going to try to get rid of the symptoms. I'm going to deal with the symptoms instead of going to the root. And the root is you're in the wrong fractal, the wrong community, you're with the wrong relationships, you're in the wrong job, you're in the wrong place of living. That's what your body is communicating, right? And it's time, the body is like, it's time for me to move, right? It's time for me to shift. And that's when your body feels open and relaxed and you're received and you don't have to play this fakery business, right? You let all that go. So you're ready to let this go. So stop looping in fear, Divine Feminine. Like, you're looping in fear and you're in your mind when it's just about your body. You're out of alignment. So there's a beauty beneath this breakdown. This is a breakdown that you're having, right? You're losing control and the soul is trying to come through, right? It's time to shift. We're in that 51-25 and now you got the 1-8 on you. You're under a lot of pressure to shift. So what false identity is blocking your expression, your true expression? And then you got the 9 of Pentacles reversed. So this is the independent, the so-called, I put in air quotes, independent woman who's pretending. So this is the spiritual woman who looks like she got it all together and I'm right. I'm self-sovereign and I'm in control and it's all fake, right? It's completely fake. So because it's not coming self-sourced, it's coming from outside of you. I'm sovereign because I'm like completely dependent on my karmic relationship. That's why I look like I have it all together. It's not coming from a true place, which is your authenticity. It's not coming from you. It's coming from outside of you. So this is fakery, total fakery. Right? So you're still seeking recognition from the external. You're still seeking comfort from the external and belonging. You're ruled by your ego right here. So you may dress like you're free. Oh, look at me. I dress like a hippie chick or whatever and I look free, but you're not. You're still bound energetically to the matrix, right? Of overgiving and unworthiness. So this is the core of the 8th shadow. I have a persona. I have an image that I'm projecting outward that's completely fake and inauthentic. It's not real. But this is saying that you're starved deep down when you're alone with yourself and your thoughts and your energy. I'm starved for authenticity. I'm starved for authenticity, right? Your soul is like longing for you to be authentic and to take off this mask. So where are you still pretending instead of expressing? Page of Wands. You're chasing a spark without substance. You're chasing the glitter without substance. It's not real. So this is trying new things starting creative projects, dropping them, starting another creative project, jumping into initiations, but you're doing it from the mind. You're doing it from the not self. You're doing it from the ego, right? So this is curiosity, like I'm curious, but you're jumping from from flower to flower, like you're the bee going from flower to flower to flower, not committed, right? Not staying long enough to receive the nectar, right? Because it's not coming from your soul. These decisions aren't coming from your soul. You want to be distracted. This is distraction card. So you're dressing the part of an inspired being. Like, look at me. I'm so interesting to others, right? I have these eclectic interests and things like that, right? But the fire is still borrowed. It hasn't been ignited within you. You're looking outside. Well, that would make me interesting if I did this and that. And again, it's fakery. It's fakery. So you can't pretend your way into purpose. You can't pretend your way into purpose with all these interests, right? Your purpose comes from within. It comes from your soul. It comes from your soul. And it's deep. It has nothing to do with anybody else. This is about you and your relationship with your soul. And you got to burn for it, right? That's your purpose. It's like burning. I cannot not do this in this lifetime. That's the burn. That's the passion, right? That needs to be awakened, Divine Feminine. So what frequency wants to move through you as a contribution? And you want the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands is like moves, right? The Knight of Wands moves. I'm not talking like physically moves, but moves with urgency, fire and truth, right? Fire and truth. So this is a wild electric force is waiting to break out of you that you've been suppressing. So you're here to lead, Divine Feminine. You're here to teach and you're here to ignite, but it can't be channeled unless you're willing to let go of the watered down version of yourself, Divine Feminine, right? You're like Divine Feminine flavored Divine Feminine. You're not truly in your passion, right? In your fire, right? It's time to break out. This is what this transit is letting you know, right? 25, 51, 1-8. It's right there. It's all there in the stars. It's time for you to break out now into your fire. So this is like gate 8 wants you to be in your authentic wildfire, No filter, no self-censoring, no shame, no conformity, right? So your sacred contribution is hidden behind the part of you that you're scared to be even seen as, right? You're scared even to be, you're afraid of yourself, right? That's why people run from their destiny. They're afraid of their power. They're afraid of looking at themselves like their true self. And this is what the Knight of Wands is saying. So it's time to get into your fire, Divine Feminine. So what must die for you to rise in the wheel of fortune? So this is big energy because it's major arcana, right? So fate has already shifted. The wheel has already turned for you, but you just haven't caught up to it yet, right? So the karmic cycle, whatever karmic cycle you're in, either a place of living, place of work, or your karmic relationships, it's already turned. It's already turned. And so the karmic cycle is ending. The wheel is turned, but still you're clinging to this old storyline. It's dead, and you're clinging to a dead body, basically, right? It's an outdated storyline. You're ready for the next chapter, right? But your mind and ego haven't caught up yet to this. It's already done. We're in a different timeline now. So this is your phoenix moment, Divine Feminine. And it's not about trying to change. Oh, I have to change, right? It's about surrendering to the wheel that it's turned and letting the past fall off, right? Like old clothes, right? Like raggedy clothes. Just let them fall off. It's just about surrendering. So you're not stuck. The Nine of Swords, right? It makes you believe that you're stuck. You're not stuck, right? You're not stuck. You're resisting. You're resisting your own evolution. So the anchor here is the Page of Pentacles reversed and then the Devil reversed. So this is the student of truth is ready to drop the chains, but you're afraid, right? You're afraid of the system. The devil represents the system that we're living in. Excuse me, the cross-planning system. You're afraid of the system. So you're done being spiritually obedient, right? You're done with being scared, right? But you are scared, right? The devil reverse says that, but you are scared. You're scared to be seen without your spiritual costume on. You're scared to be visible, right? You're scared to be visible in your power. Whatever role that you've been playing, right? It's time for a costume change. This is like you're scared to let go of this costume you've been wearing. You're scared to walk the walk without the training wheels. And this is exactly what the Gate 8 is shattering, right? You're not here, right? You're here to be a model, right? You're here to be a model, what it feels like to be, and what it looks like to stand in the fire, right? Unashamed as yourself. So with this reading, it's a very powerful reading. You're not becoming someone new, right? You're not becoming someone new. You're still yourself, but you're shedding who you never truly were. That's what's going away, right? This is the age of Aquarius. It's the age of truth. Truth is the only thing left standing. The only thing going away is the not self. And it's not who you truly were. And your soul is ecstatic, right? It's an ecstasy to finally be expressed in this lifetime. Like out of all your lifetimes, I finally get to express my soul. So the mask is cracking, right? The fakery is over. So the part of you that feels the most dangerous to show is your authentic self. And this is part of the soul that you've come here to, this is the soul that you've come here to deliver, right? So now it's time to do it. Okay. And where to next? Okay, so let's go for those twin flames. The twin flames. So, the twin flame connection. What do we have here? So what truth is trying to be seen in this connection? So this is either your twin flame or your false twin. So you can read it either or. Your true twin flame or your false twin. And that's your karmic. So the temperance reversed. So what's trying to be seen in this connection? That you're trying to avoid how imbalanced this relationship is or connection is. You're trying to avoid this with temperance reversed. So there's been delayed integration or false peace and trying to be patient without the actual medicine, which is clarity, looking at this connection with sober eyes, and boundaries, and release, and ultimate release. So this is an inner knowing, because it's reversed. So it's like I've been tolerating energetic dissonance, right? That we're not on the same page, and I've been calling it, I'm being spiritually mature. So this is a distortion here that the twins have to address. So with your false twin or your real twin. So this is like the twin flame likes to mask this and like, I'm just being in unconditional love for my twin. I'm putting up with an imbalance, right? With an imbalance here. And the Gate 8 says authenticity is the highest form of love. So don't try to balance what's meant to be burned. So with the With the false twin here, it's like forced harmony. Forced harmony. I'm trying to like be the people pleaser and shape myself into what that false twin wants from me, but it's masking dysfunction. Your relationship is dysfunctional, right? And so this is saying that you gave and they took, and still you hoped that they would give back to you. Queen of Wands reversed is you dimmed yourself and made yourself small to remain connected. And the Lovers, right, dimmed yourself down. Your Queen of your fire, you put a wet blanket on your fire. And the Lovers becomes a choice now to reclaim your self-love. Not union, right? Not union. This isn't about another person with the Lovers here. This is about you in union with yourself and claiming your self-love, your self-worth, your self-respect. You're not going to put up with this anymore, right? And then you've got the Empress sideways, Divine Feminine, and this means you're stepping out of self-abandonment that's disguised. Well, I'm just being loyal and I'm being devotional to my twin, my false twin. But it's you're abandoning yourself, right? So this is like saying for the false twin, the mirror is served. The mirror served its purpose. You saw the wound, you got poked, you got your scab completely poked at and scratched at, and it never healed. That's your false twin, right? You got the mirror. You got the mirror, you got the reflection. You know where to look now. You know what healing to do, but it's not with this false twin. So the mirror served its purpose, and now it's time to break the illusion. And the real one won't demand your radiance to be hidden. The real twin won't demand that your radiance be hidden. So now, with this, if it's your true twin, this connection is misaligned. Temperance in reversed. So it means the timing is off for your true twin. So it's not about a no, it's about a not now, right? It's not about a no, it's about a not now. And then the Cups and Pentacles here, reverse, points to an old soul wounding being triggered for healing. So it's like a pause, right? So to look at this wounding around overgiving, right? Coming into balance with this giving and receiving. So it's not a full like cut this off, and you can never escape from your twin anyway, but it just means a pause for healing. The Queen of Wands reverse says your union depends on your full embodiment. You can't be playing these games, Divine Feminine, where you're dimming your light and making yourself small. You've got to be the Queen of Wands in her power, snapping her fingers, right? She knows who she is. She knows her worth. She's got self-respect, and she's in her fire, right? She's not afraid of her fire. So you have to be in full embodiment for the union to happen. And then the twin will rise to meet you, right? Or not. The twin has to rise to meet you. So making yourself small is not going to bring the twin in, right? Your true divine counterpart, because you're in this Six of Pentacles, making yourself small, over giving energy. And then the Empress sideways. So Lovers is said to choose. You want to choose wholeness, right? And alignment, right? You want to choose that. And then the divine counterpart comes in or not, rises or not. And then the Empress sideways is that union is available only when both of you are in your radiance, right? So the Empress, the Divine Feminine, has to be in her radiance, and the Divine Masculine has to be in his radiance here. They have to be sovereign and whole unto themselves. That's the twin flame. You're whole and sovereign unto yourself. So you don't wait. This is saying don't wait, right? Don't wait. You rise. You rise. And if they're your mirror, they'll rise up too. They'll rise up too. They have to, right? They have to. And if not, they were only a spark that lit your flame, But the point is, on the twin flame journey, is that you awaken. You become whole unto yourself. Okay? So keep moving forward. Don't be waiting for your twin, right? Keep moving forward on your soul purpose and being in your fire, and trust the divine. The divine's in charge of this connection, not the ego and the mind. Okay, so let's go to who's up next here on the slide deck is the projectors. Projectors. So what's the message here? You got the Knight of Cups reversed and the Three of Pentacles, and this is to stop chasing recognition through emotional offerings and start embodying your emotional truth. So this says that you're running on romantic projection or fantasy, right? Over-giving, over-functioning. So you may be offering love and wisdom or beauty without an invitation. You're holding space for others in hope of being recognized, right? And you're seeking emotional connection as a shortcut to value. So this card is saying that your emotional presence is sacred, projectors, but when it's not rooted in self-trust, it becomes fake, right? So it's about trusting yourself. This can be like the people pleaser card too, to watch that projectors. And especially in love, and especially if you're in a twin flame connection, you're giving your frequency away to others who cannot receive you, So bringing your focus back to yourself, or trying to be seen by mirroring that they think that the other wants. This is the people pleasing. What do you want me to be, right? The projector. So you want to root into yourself. So gate 8 is saying you want to style your love in truth. You want to style your love in truth and let it be radiant, not reacting to the other, and share when moved. Share when moved, not when you're seeking. And that's that chasing energy, right? I can help them, I can fix them. It's like, no, you're going to be moved when the divine moves through you. And then the anchor here is the Three of Pentacles, and you don't need to earn your place. You don't need to earn your place in the world. So this shows a deep karmic imprint. If I'm useful, I am safe. If I can contribute, I will be kept. They'll keep me around if I'm useful. So this is total projector living in a generator world, right? Projectors living in a generator world. That you had to do this, right? In order to survive. Like, who's that projector just sitting around reading books, not doing anything, right? The generators. You get out here and move boulders with us, kind of thing, right? You got to work, you got to justify your existence, right? So this is like an old costume that you have to let go of, and it's a belief system, right? I have to make myself useful or the tribe is going to give me the boot. So projectors were conditioned to believe that their value is in what they can do, what they can fix, right? What they can intuit, what they can co-create. So always on the job, right? Projectors are always on the job. So you're learning to feel worthy without pretending, without performing, even in spiritual or creative partnerships, just to be. So gate 8 is saying to stop trying to blend in to this generator world and to stop fitting into someone else's blueprint, basically, and how they work. Well, I got these MGs and Gs around me, and they're go, so I got to keep up with them. That's their trip, right? Let them be in their own lane, and you be in your lane as a projector. So it's really calling you projectors to root into yourself. So this is an invitation to build your own way of being, your own lane, right? Your own soul design, not as a helper, not as a healer, but as an originator of frequency, of your own frequency, right? So you want to stop shaping yourself so that you can be received by others, and your emotional truth is enough. You're not here to earn your place through caretaking, co-creating, or laboring. The right ones are going to recognize you. The people that are meant for you will recognize you when you're rooted in yourself, right? If you're not home, imagine, right? someone is delivering you a bunch of money, right? You come into this windfall. Maybe you got an inheritance or something. And they come to the door. Ding dong, ding dong. There's nobody home. I guess she's not around. I guess I'll go, right? Maybe try to come back later. Well, that's like you. When you're not rooted in yourself, you can't receive. So this is what this transit is letting you know. To trust your frequency will bring the right people for you that recognize you, right? Your soul tribe, your fractal. Okay, so who's next here? The MGs. Oh, and look, that Three of Pentacles showed up again for the MGs. Okay, so what is this saying? You've got the Death card and then the Three of Pentacles for the MGs. Well, you can't respond to life while clinging to an old version of yourself that's already dead. It's already dead. So you can't respond to life, MGs, clinging to a version of you that's already dead. It's already died. So you're wired to respond, but what happens when everything in your field is outdated, right? The Death card signals this exact moment in your life. So you're being asked to shed something major here. This is like major arcana. So something really major in your life has to go, right? So a false identity that you've been like the fake self, wearing the mask, overperforming, overgiving, trying to be someone that you're not for everybody else, right? A creative path that no longer lights you up, a karmic relationship that's stagnating your evolution, or a false twin flame fantasy that you're in that's stopping you from evolving. And you may feel burned out, chaotic, fragmented, not because you're out of alignment, but because you're being initiated into a soul authentic expression, right? You're being called to be real and authentic, aligned with your soul. So the gate 8 energy is saying, you're not here to keep it going, right? You're here to let it go. And so what's true can rise. So let go of the old that's not longer serving you. You got to let go first, right? You can't hold on to this whole timeline and then this new timeline's trying to come in. Like, one has to go, right? And the old timeline has to go. If you're committed to your growth and evolution and healing in this lifetime, the old timeline is being called to go. So what's true can come in, right? So this is a phoenix moment for the MGs. So the false MG self, your false fakery self, the people pleaser, the multitasker, doing everything for everybody else, is done. It's totally done. So then the anchor card is the Three of Pentacles, and this says stop building, right, for others. Stop hitching your wagon to their dream, their soul's destiny. It's not yours. It has to die, right? So you're like hooked up to somebody else's dream. It's not authentic to you, right? You're putting all your energy into this. And then this card is saying to no, bring your energy back to yourself. Bring your energy back to your dream, right? Your timeline. So this is like getting recognition. Well, I'm getting recognition and I'm getting validation for being useful and productive, right? I'm going to stay on task with somebody else's project, right? I'm going to stay on task with this relationship that's dead, that's no longer aligned with me, or a business that's no longer aligned with me. And so you're designed as an MG, you're designed to be a disruptor, right? A creative disruption. Right? So collaborations that you're clinging to are too small for your fire. So you might ask yourself, am I building, right? Am I building something that's for me, or am I renovating someone's karmic house, right? Keeping them in a staying in a karmic situation here? Am I renovating someone's karmic house, or am I building my own soul temple here? So the gate 8 says, if you want to be truly seen, stop blending in, stop building sideways. That's not for you, and burn the blueprint. You want to build from your body, so you want to trust your body, MG, right? Okay. So if you're feeling burned out, that's another thing here. If you're feeling burned out, the burnout is a burial, right? Your burnout, your exhaustion, it's a sign that you have to bury something. You're being asked to do more that's aligned with your soul. And you're being asked to let die what no longer vibrates with your truth. So let it fall and let the fire clear the plans. And when the ashes settle, respond only to what feels alive. Only respond to what feels alive. If it's not zinging you up, if it's not lighting your fire, if your passion isn't there, then no, it's got to die. Okay, so who's next? The Manifestors. The Manifestor's got that Lover's card again. So this says you're at a threshold, Manifestors, on my fractal. You're at a threshold of divine union, but only one choice leads to freedom, right? So this is also the choice card, right? The Lovers. So it's not just about romance, it's about an alignment with your values, your truth, and your inner polarity. So you're longing, maybe you're longing for union, right? With your twin flame, with your soulmate, your creative partner. But have you been leading from strategy, right? You've been more strategic, or have you been leading from soul? Well, this says no, you haven't been leading from soul. So you're afraid to initiate in love. Remember, Manifestor, Divine Feminines, you got to be Sadie Hawkins, right? You're the one that's got to initiate the relationship, right? So maybe you've been stalling on this. And afraid, right? You're afraid of past rejection. So this card says it's time for you to choose, not between people, but between protecting your heart or living from it. Am I going to protect my heart, or am I going to live from it? So this is following your old path or initiating the new one, even if it means you're alone, right? So the Anchor card is the Star reversed. And so this is saying that you've lost hope, not in love, but being loved for who you truly are. Like, right? You've lost hope of anyone ever really seeing you and loving you for who you are. So this is the wounded Manifestor, right? Initiated too soon and got burned. Revealed too much about yourself and got rejected. Shined your light too bright, right? And got exiled. So the Star reversed is a post-betrayal despair. It says, why bother? Why bother? Why speak when no one listens? Why shine if it's just going to be misunderstood again? But gate 8, right? The gate 8 transit's going to bring the fire of creativity and clarity for you. So your light was never meant to be understood by the crowd. Never by the crowd. It was meant to ignite the few and burn away the false, right? So this is like your heart's not broken. It's awakening here. It's awakening now. So you want to choose what's real, right? And let the false hope die, and let the radiant truth rise, right? Okay. So that's the manifest. Okay, and who's next here? The generators. The generator's got the 9 of Cups reversed and the Ace of Cups. So this is like you've been trying, right? Upright, it's satisfaction. Down, it's like no. So you've been trying to be satisfied without actually honoring your desires, right? So this is burnout, generator burnout. saying yes when the sacral scream no, staying in situations like jobs, relationships, or projects that feel safe, right? They look really good on paper, that relationship, that job, but they drain you, they drain your spirit. So pretending to be content to avoid disappointing other people. So this card reverse says stop. You've been chasing, what it's saying is like you've been chasing the idea of fulfillment. You've been the idea of what would make me fulfilled. Checking the boxes, right? Serving others, even spiritualizing your frustration. But inside you're empty, right? So gate 8 energy hits here like a thunderclap. And it says stop pretending that you're happy. Stop pretending that you're fulfilled. Stop pretending that you're satisfied and start living in truth, right? So this is the shadow of the mediocrity, the shadow of mediocrity. This is styled happiness without soul connection. What should make me happy? Well, earning this much money, right? Living in this place, having my little toys, right? But it's not coming from your soul, what makes you truly happy. And then the anchor, Ace of Cups, is saying it starts with your own heart. Your happiness starts with your own heart. Not their heart, not the other person's heart, not the world's heart, but your heart begins there. So this is the renewal of your sacral, right? And it's a chance to begin again, because it's an ace, right? Ace of Cups, it's to start again. So the question to ask yourself, generator, is like, what would truly satisfy me? Not my mind, not my ego or the other person, but what would truly satisfy me? What relationships, creations, and expressions are actually aligned with my frequency now? Am I still giving energy to something that doesn't feed my soul? And this is your turning point, right? Instead of trying to get love and get recognition or get satisfaction, you become the vessel of it, the embodiment of it. So you want to let your heart be your sacral compass. Yeah. So this is the overgiving in relationships, right? Waiting for someone else to get it, to understand you. Investing in relationships that once felt real to you, and now they're hollow. So stop waiting, right? Stop waiting around. You want to choose yourself. You want to fill up your own cup, that Ace of Cups. And if it overflows, then you share it. And if it doesn't, you want to keep it close, right? So this is saying, generators, that you're not here to work for crumbs of joy. You were designed to radiate from overflow, generators. So stop pretending that you're content and you're happy, right? And start trusting your body again. And let what no longer satisfies you, like, just to fall away, and say yes to what lights your soul. Even if no one understands why. Why does that light your soul? You don't care. It's none of your business. You want to what they think, right? It's what lights your soul. Okay, and then let's finish it off with the reflectors. The reflectors here, and what did they get? They got the Two of Swords reversed, and then the Page of Cups reversed, right? Yeah, there we go. So you've been pretending not to know. Two of Swords upright is like, I don't know, I'm in a stalemate. Two of Swords reversed is like, I know. I know, right? This is, I'm pretending I don't know. But your body already knows. So reflectors are open, adaptable, and sensitive to everything around them. And yet this card is showing that you're overwhelmed, right? You're paralyzed. You're afraid to choose, not because you're unclear, but because you fear being exiled if you act on what you already know. So this is about knowing when a relationship is wrong, when a group is wrong, but you're staying quiet, right? You know your truth, but you're pretending that you're neutral. So you're wanting peace, but you're sacrificing clarity to maintain it. So the gate 8, it says, stop hiding behind indecision. if your truth costs you false peace, it's worth it. It's totally worth it. Okay. And then, oh, we didn't do the Page of Cups here. Okay. So then the Page of Cups reversed for the reflectors. And this is your inner child, right? The pages can represent the inner child. Your inner child doesn't trust that your voice will be received. So this is the feeling too much, feeling too strange, and feeling like your emotional authenticity won't land. So either you romanticize everything or you withdraw completely. So this is your seeking emotional safety through mirroring others. But the gate 8, right, is asking you to come into your own emotional individuality, come more into your authenticity, and to stop shape-shifting, right? You're shape-shifting in order to survive, and start speaking from your soul, even if your voice trembles. So this is this says it's a blocked creative expression due to shame, rejection, or emotional neglect, either in your past life or your present life. So it's time to reclaim your emotional intuition, not as a weakness, but as a transmission. Okay, so that's what I have for the readings. And if you received any value from this video, I would appreciate a like, a thumbs up, and of course your comments, which I enjoy reading. And if you're on my fractal line, then it means the other people that are commenting are on your fractal line too. So it's a way for you to connect with others. So again, the reminder, gonna have fun with Lilith. Releasing Lilith this on the weekend of May 16th to 18th, exactly 2 weeks from today. You don't want to miss this. And this is all awakening the divine feminine. So lots of teachings, lots of Kundalini yoga and meditation, and somatic, traumatic release stuff. And we'll be looking at your Lilith in your chart, and we'll be bringing her out of hiding. And this is going to bring your power full on, right? 100% on. So if you feel called, if you're getting the zing inside, then go to the link in the information box and definitely sign up. And I hope to see you there. Okay, and have a great weekend, and I will see you on Tuesday. Okay. Sat Nam Aloha, everybody.